All right, in this video, we're going to talk about how optimism is a drug. So, I find that myself and I'm guessing other people have this thing of, oh, it will get better. Everything will work out. Now, before I go in depth into this, right, you have to understand that most people who have, let's say they're talking on this, about this topic specifically about optimism being a drug. Most people who talk about this don't realize that God is real. And so when I'm saying optimism is a drug, I'm not trying to take away people from the faith or recognizing that God is not real. God is real, and 100%, if you follow him, God will lead you to maybe not the life you want, right? The life you want in your head, but he will lead you to a good life. You know, because if we really sit back and analyze our situations, most of us aren't starving. You know, even if we do have money issues, it's not the worst. And, you know, there's kind of like this gray area that most men are where they're not, you know, poor. They're not, well, most men are not really down bad struggling, but they have this kind of grayness inside their life where it's just the same thing each and every day, basically waiting for the slaughterhouse, in terms of the slaughterhouse being death, just basically waiting to die each and every day, and kind of realizing that life is shit because we don't have no avenues for not just dopamine, but for real life experience, or just having a good life. Because, you know, and I've talked about this in a lot of in one of my videos, about how the medicine to get people out of this is, oh, just lock in, bro. And one of my videos gonna drop currently, I think it's like June 12th or some shit. So I don't know when you'll be seeing this. I usually book my videos, so you might not see this until way later. But the thing about locking in, right, is that you're already isolated. So you're already cutting yourself off from the experience that you want, or the experience that you crave to have, right? And the thing is that even, let's say, if locking in does work, nobody actually talks about, first, most people don't even have it in them to lock in, you know? And for some of you guys watching this, you have to analyze that may be yourself, right? Because locking in for me could look like some baby food to you. You know what I mean? Or locking in for me could look like so much more than you, you know, because a lot of people have like their capabilities, where I do believe everybody can lock in for like a week or two, but eventually, you know, these people that talk about locking in, they don't even lock in like themselves, really. All they're doing is just filling out their like content schedule, right? But they already know that this thing of locking in is like the solution to get out of all your misery, and for freedom, and for escapism for young men, or just people in general. When really it's like locking in won't really give you that much results. And even if you do get like material success in terms of like views, or like your YouTube gets popping and shit like that, for most people, they might just be like a rich loser, or nothing really else will change or stand out about them, you know? Obviously there will be exceptions and shit like that, you know? But to get back to the topic, right? Optimism is a drug in the sense of, for me, right? For me, mentally, I'm always good. Like, I do have my issues, and obviously everybody else has their issues, but from day to day, I'm not exactly so emotional, or, you know, I will have like emotions, but I'll say it like this: I've come to a point in my life, and with the things I've experienced, that I'm okay with things not being how they are, but I'm just accepting the moment, if you get what I mean. So I've gone to the point in life where I don't know if this is like stoicism, because I don't really know what that is. Obviously I've heard about it, but basically, like, when a situation comes, I just accept it for what it is, and I don't get attached to it. and I'll just let it pass, right? And that's kind of how I live my life each and every day, and I've kind of within myself, I've kind of built my ego in a way where I like unintentionally I make myself numb to eat like almost everything, because I've gone through the phase. Well, I already gone through like a masculization phase, and I'm gonna drop a video on that. Every man needs to go through that, but I've already gone through the phase of feeling like weak, helpless, and everything, and then I've like carved myself out of that like cave of helplessness, or whatever, nigga, you know the word. And so I've gone to a point now where I don't view my suffering as something that like I don't view it as painful as it really is. I'm just suffering. I don't know. It's kind of like in a way acceptance of what things are, and obviously I'm doing the most I can to change my situation, money situation, and just everything about my life, and each and everywhere which I can improve. But it's not really for others; it's more for myself. And I think this video is going to help out a lot of people, because a lot of people have this expectation that changing themselves so hard to change something that can't be changed. You know what I mean? Like, I could try and like a 5'2" guy could try his hardest to fucking self-improve, but he'll never get to 6 foot. Or if let's say he's like one of the lucky chosen that like find about all this like knowledge when he's like 9 years old of how to grow taller, and he watches all these videos and stuff like that. Even if let's say he had the perfect diet, the perfect this, the most he's probably gonna get is just maybe an inch more of height, maybe 2 if he's lucky, but probably just maybe an inch more of what he was naturally supposed to be. And this is the thing, is that because people are suffering, and what men really want is just freedom, freedom from everything. And I think this freedom can come, I'm kind of debating if I want to make this into another video, but I think freedom will come in the way of accepting what things are and really detaching, not in a like a LA white bitch way, but detaching from things you can't control, and just letting the cards play out how it plays out. It's kind of like that thing of what I said in the beginning of, if you just put your trust in God, everything will work out. And I'm not saying, but again, like how I said, I'm not saying that, oh, but you trusting God, he's gonna make you a millionaire, because obviously not everybody is supposed to have that. And I do believe in stuff like prosperity, blessings, like that are like basically I do believe that knowledge can be passed down through genes. I do believe that generational curses can be passed on. Like something simple is like, if your dad smokes weed, there's going to be a higher percentile that you're going to smoke weed. I do believe that, because this is a spiritual world, and each and everything in this world is supposed to lead you to hell. So it's a narrow gate. But because people are suffering life, and what they're chasing is freedom, they have this thing of optimism of, oh, things will get better. And this is like to keep them sane, and to keep their eyes off of the pain. And I've kind of noticed it within myself. I kind of sidetracked, but when I was talking about with myself, is that naturally I do have a really good like mind state. I'm not like depressed often. I don't really get sad. Obviously I'll have a moment or two, but nigga, after like 20 minutes, or if I drink caffeine, or if I just wake up the next day, I'll be chilling. I'm always at 0, so there's never a time where I'm extremely sad. But at the same time, there's never a moment I'm extremely happy. I'm kind of at that gray point, at that 0. Which being at 0 is not bad, because you can build from 0. But from what I've researched, right, and I'm not really well versed in this topic, but obviously hormones and stuff like that, I do think that if you live a more active or lifestyle, if you are a little bit more high testosterone, and I'm not saying like I am, I'm not gonna look at me, Mr. Masculine, but I'm just saying like if you have like certain things in place, it will lead you naturally to have a higher or a more stable mindset. And so even sometimes I catch myself um, when I do especially feel good or I'm just having a good day, I have like this mindset of, oh, all right, everything's gonna work out, everything's fine. But then after 3-4 days of basically my routine, right? Because this is the work life, straight out of high school, I went right into work. I was working in high school too, but yeah, my life has just been work and just isolation, and a lot of it I placed it on myself. But this this daily life of just maybe one day out of the week I'll be extremely happy for some reason and be super optimistic, and then returning back to that zero. I think over the years I've kind of realized this, and I think this is a message that I need to spread to people, not to spread negativity, but also just to spread the truth that optimism is a drug, right? Now, again, to go back to this point, because the thing is that because I believe in Jesus and because I believe in God, I can't really push, like I can't say this and not also preach Jesus, because it's like these people that usually preach this message, they don't know about God, they don't know about Jesus. And a lot of people will come in here saying religion is like a cope, something like that, which is like, dude, I used to think the same thing. Like, if you logically thought about it, like if people are pushing Jesus so much, don't you think there's something there? Like, I get life is suffering, and so subconsciously we're gonna need like something, and it's like something to believe. A lot of people are chasing meaning in life, but it's like I'll say this, right? And this is how I live my life, or the kind of mindset that I have. Is do the most you can, work as hard as you want, not as hard as you can, and in a lot of my videos, I just want to put this out there, because I've always preached, oh, work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, because I don't ever want you to have like a give up mindset. But if you watch this video, I think I'm gonna start switching it and just work as hard as you want, right? So the bigger goal, the harder you gotta work, right? But work as hard as you want, right? Where you still have your relaxation, your time to relax and to prepare for the next day and all that, right? Work as hard as you want, do the most you can, and let God handle the rest, right? And then obviously follow God, right? And yeah, I think that's just the mindset that you should have. But stop trying to positive think your way out of situations. The law of attraction is not real, and I used to believe it. But the thing is, the law of attraction can be real, but the thing is, in life, you either walk two paths, with God or without Him. And so, if what you're attracting comes to be true, I mean, there is a spirit world, there is demons, there are fallen angels. So it's like, I don't want to scare people, or I don't want to. I don't want to get that esoteric, but I'm, slowly, guys, I'm going to start pushing out my more esoteric content and my more kind of occultic topics, So yeah, I'm going to definitely be preaching more about God, but also, the darker side of life, so you guys could come to repentance and follow Jesus, right? And also, just to put this out there, because I just feel like I have to say it. If I ever do post knowledge that is extremely important, where it can literally save lives, and you'll get what I mean by this in future videos. Repost it, or if you are a Christian, just talk about the topics that I talk about, right? This isn't about views. This isn't about anything like that. All my other videos, nigga, you could dislike, you could talk shit under the comments. I don't give a fuck. But when it's a Jesus video, my nigga, even if you don't like me personally, you have to push that message out, right? We have to be, stop being scared of the camera, bro. The more people that talk about Jesus, the more people are going to be saved, bro. It's a soul thing. But, yeah, anyways, to get back to the point, kill optimism. Never have it, right? Have faith in God and move in faith in terms of, a lot of people will be like, oh, move in faith. Oh, if you just have faith, it will happen. Yes and no, because it's like these people would just, oh, I'll have faith of this, but then it's something that's gonna pull them away from God, right? God will bless you if it's either for your correction or to lead you to Him or for some other purpose, or if it's specifically for you. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be something that's gonna benefit your walk with Christ, So don't ever stress about money. Don't ever stress about anything else. Leave it all to God, all right? Do the most you can and let God handle the rest. All right, this has been Los. Catch you in the next one.